Very good morning to you. It's late Sunday morning here on the 27th of November 2011, and the sun's shining 1 minute, and then the next minute we're getting battered by heavy rain on a stiff west and northwesterly wind here across Scotland. We've seen gusts up as high as 90 miles per hour at Fair Isle up in the Northern Isles, and we're seeing some tremendous gusts of wind over the past 24 hours. We're going to be seeing more and more stormy conditions push further and further south through the UK. We're seeing those changes. I'm getting quite excited. I've bided my time. I've been patient, and like I've said, if you've been paying attention to my videos as well as my write-ups on my blog, I've said that the changes would take place. Just be patient. We're still early, but we're seeing those changes now starting to take place. The storm track that's of course bringing in those strong areas of low pressure. We're seeing many centres of low pressure forming along that 200-mile-an-hour jet stream. The reason being is we're seeing the expanse and building of the cold to the north. We're seeing the changes over Europe. We're seeing the breakdown of that high pressure over the continent. And what that's doing is it's allowing the jet stream to become more westerly. It's also bringing in those areas of low pressure further and further south. So after a few weeks ago, we've seen the lows stay away from Ireland and track northwards up into Iceland. Now we've seen over the past week, we've seen those lows now starting to bend, remain off the Scottish coastline to the north and pushing into the Norwegian coast. This week, we're going to be seeing those centres of low pressure cross over Scotland. And that means to say that further south, where that centre is located to the south and southeast, that's where your strongest winds and that strong impulse of rain will push through. So changes last week, changes again this week. The pattern is evolving exactly the way I thought it would back in the summertime. I believed that basically at the close of November and the start of December we would see an increase in storm action as that cold air is starting to expand over the high latitudes up over the pole. But it's going to be an interesting week, folks. We're seeing pleasant sunny conditions across much of England and Wales from, say, the Midlands southwards. Highs warming up to around 12 to 14 Celsius. That's ahead of the next system that's waiting on the wings to the southwest of the UK. What we're seeing is, by Tuesday, that centre of low pressure will push across Scotland. Because the centre is over Scotland, we'll see less in the way of wind, but atmospheric pressure will be down into the 980 millibar range over Scotland. But to the south of that, over England and Wales, you're going to be seeing gales, perhaps severe gales, particularly along the coast, or the west coast and south coast of England, and heavy rain as well as that boundary pushes through. Cold air is becoming more prominent on the backsides of these lows because the position of these lows crossing over the UK is now pulling that colder air south and southeast. But it is, of course, a polar maritime air mass, not an Arctic air mass, and that is important to remember. So let's look ahead at the surface map of the GFS model. This is courtesy of the Meteor Group website. And you can see here, this is the current setup at the moment across the surface. You can see here the storm centre to the north and east of Scotland. So stormier conditions across Scandinavia. We're seeing that mountain snow, low elevation, heavy rain, relatively mild conditions. Then, as you see the system push to the east, then we'll see the colder air. But every time a low pressure approaches a region, we see that influx of milder conditions. Then as the system pushes through, high wind, heavy rain. As it pushes out, we'll see the colder conditions on the back side of these areas of low pressure. So let's skip through this map. Ahead 3 hours, you can see the area of low pressure starting to scoot off to the east. On the backside, we'll see an approach of milder conditions yet again, and this will basically be the pattern over the next few weeks. We're going to be seeing the push of warmer air ahead of the next system. Now, looking ahead at through Monday, 27 hours, 30 hours, here's the winds now starting to increase as the next system pushes through 39 hours. 42 hours, we'll see the winds very strong. Look at that over England and Wales, across the Republic of Ireland as well. Tightly packed isobars. Isobars, of course, showing lines of equal pressure, and as these lines start to tighten up, that shows those strong winds. The direction in which the lines are pointing shows the direction of the wind. So southwest, strong winds blowing, and as you can see here at 50 hours, there's basically a little centre of low pressure right here over Scotland. So as you can see here, the isobars are more spread out, more separated. That indicates less wind here, but further south, winds are blowing hard, howling in fact, out of the southwest. But skipping ahead, you can see here Scandinavia, the tightly packed isobars remaining very unsettled. By Tuesday, the 29th, very powerful westerly winds at the surface across the majority of the UK. But skipping way ahead, folks, you can see here, where's the high pressure? It's getting deflected away off to the southeast, and the UK as well as Scandinavia remaining very unsettled. Look ahead at the upper level pattern of the European model, and we can see here, this is the current map. Of course, the conditions is showing the milder air getting pushed through. By Monday, you can see here, heights start to lower in advance of the next system. Tuesday, there we go. We've got the next system pushing in that 12 to 14 Celsius air by daytime on Tuesday as the winds howl out of the southwest across England and Wales. By Wednesday, there we go. The front's pushed through, the cooler air has pushed in on the backside. Looking ahead at Thursday, you can see the increase in milder conditions as the next system pushes through. Guess what? By Friday, cooler conditions once again. So we've got a very active jet stream. The reason being, of course, is you've got increase in cold in the north, still milder to the south, and we're seeing, of course, across the majority of southern Europe, we're seeing through Iberia and the Mediterranean more settled conditions. High pressure is now in control, and that's because we don't have that ridge to the north. It's been deflected to the south. Jet stream more on a more normal latitude now, flowing west to east, pulling in these very intense areas of low pressure. And of course, like I've said all along, the Persian milder air